Warmest greetings to all my incredible subscribers and new viewers alike. Welcome, everyone, to our latest video where we'll be exploring Freddie Guest. Frederick Edward Guest, 14 June 1875 – 28 April 1937, was a British politician best known for being Chief Whip of Prime Minister David Lloyd George's coalition Liberal Party. He was also Secretary of State for between 1921 and 1922. He won the bronze medal with the British polo team at the 1924 Summer Olympics in Paris. Prepare yourself for an in-depth analysis of early life in this section. Frederick Edward Guest was born in London, the third son of Ivor Guest, 1st Baron Wimborne, and Lady Cornelia Spencer Churchill. The Guest family had made its fortune in the iron and steel industry during the 18th and 19th centuries and had married into the aristocracy. The Wimbornes were conservatives who had been friends of Benjamin Disraeli. His mother was the eldest daughter of John Spencer Churchill, 7th Duke of Marlborough. Guest's four brothers were also politically active, with Ivor Guest serving as 2nd Baron Wimborne, then 1st Viscount Wimborne, a junior minister, and Lord Lieutenant of Ireland. In addition, Henry Guest and Oscar Guest were members of Parliament, while Lionel Guest was a member of the London County Council. His sister Frances Charlotte Guest was married to Frederick Thesiger, 1st Viscount Chelmsford, who served as Viceroy of India. Guest was a first cousin of British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, Charles Spencer Churchill, 9th Duke of Marlborough, and Henry Insker, 8th Duke of Roxburgh, as well as a nephew of Conservative politician Lord Randolph Churchill, George Spencer Churchill, 8th Duke of Marlborough, and Lady Anne Emily Spencer Churchill, who was married to the 7th Duke of Roxburgh. His cousin, the 8th Duke of Roxburgh, was married to American heiress Mary Gowlett, the only daughter of Odin Gowlett. Now let's redirect our focus towards education and military career and discover its significance in our narrative. Educated at Winchester, Guest chose the military profession. He was commissioned as 2nd Lieutenant in the Infantry Militia, East Surrey Regiment, and promoted to Lieutenant on 7 April 1894. After apprenticeship in the militia, Guest was on 15 May 1897 appointed an officer in the 1st Life Guards, and promoted to lieutenant in that regiment on 23 November 1898. He was sent to Egypt in 1899, and in late November that year was part of a camel corps during the operations leading to the defeat of the Khalifa mentioned in dispatches 25 November 1899. He served in South Africa during the Second Boer War from 1901, returning home in late June 1902, following the end of hostilities. Back in the United Kingdom, he returned to regular posting with his regiment in September 1902. He was decorated for bravery and rose to captain before retiring from active duty in 1906. Let's now venture into the realm of political career and explore the fascinating intricacies it holds. In 1904, during the controversy within the Conservative Party over adopting protectionism, Guest and other members of his family followed his cousin and close friend, Winston Churchill, into the Liberal Party in support of free trade and perhaps also to accelerate their political careers. In 1906, Guest became private secretary to Churchill, then a junior minister in Sir Henry Campbell Bannerman's Liberal government. Guest attempted 3 times to enter the House of Commons before winning the vote in the East Dorset seat in the January 1910 general election. Although he remained unseated because of election irregularities by his constituency agent, he was re-elected in December 1910. Known in the political world as Freddie Guest, he was a popular backbencher, became a Liberal Party whip in 1911. In the same year was elected a charter member of the crossbencher, the Club of Political Insiders, and was appointed Treasurer of the Household Deputy Chief Whip in 1912. When the First World War began in August 1914, Guest returned to active service as aide-de-camp to Field Marshal Sir John French, commander of the British Expeditionary Force in France. Guest performed confidential missions for French, liaising with the War Office and with political leaders. In 1916, Guest served in the East African Theatre of War and was awarded the Distinguished Service Order. After being invalided out of the army following serious illness, Guest resumed his political career. In May 1917 he joined Lloyd George's coalition government as Joint Patronage Secretary of the Treasury, effectively Chief Whip for the coalition Liberals. On 3 December 1917 Guest sent Lloyd George a 14-page memo stating that although only around a third of Liberal MPs were staunch supporters of his predecessor H. Asquith, the time was not yet right to oust him from the Liberal leadership. Guest was appointed to the Privy Council in the 1920 New Year Honours, entitling him to the style the Right Honourable, and in 1921 was promoted to Secretary of State for Air, a post he held until the coalition fell from power in October 1922. In the general election of November 1922 Guest lost his seat, but in 1923 was returned for Stroud, then in 1924 for Bristol North. After losing as an unofficial Liberal in the 1929 election, he rejoined the Conservative Party, winning as a Conservative for Plymouth Drake in 1931 and remaining in this position until his death. In the following segment, we'll be examining polo in greater detail. Guest competed for Great Britain in polo at the 1924 Summer Olympics. The British polo team received the bronze medal. He played alongside Frederick W. Barrett, Dennis Bingham and Kinnear Wise. Guest can be found among the winners of the Roehampton Trophy. He would also lend horses to the English polo team for the International Polo Cup matches. Get ready for an exciting exploration as we unravel the mysteries of family and private life. On 28 June 1905, Guest married Amy Phipps, daughter of American industrialist Henry Phipps, at St. George's, Hanover Square in London. Amy was prominent as a women's suffragist, philanthropist and aviation enthusiast, and owned valuable property on Long Island. The couple were frequent visitors to the United States in the years and years. They had a daughter and two sons who became American citizens: Winston Frederick Churchill Guest, a polo player who married Helena Woolworth McCann, and later Lucy Douglas Cochrane. Raymond I. Guest, the United States ambassador to Ireland from 1965 to 1968, who married 3 times to Elizabeth Polk, Ellen Tuck Frenchaster, and Princess Caroline Murat. Diana Guest Manning. Apart from his political career, he was an amateur motor racing driver and aeroplane pilot. In 1928 he was instrumental in founding the British airfield operator National Flying Services. In 1930 he became Deputy Master of the Guild of Air Pilots and Air Navigators, and Master in 1932. He also played polo, was a big game hunter in East Africa, and was a celebrated man about town in London and New York City society. Among his homes was Villa Artemis in Palm Beach, Florida, and the former DuPont estate in Roslyn, New York. He was a member of the River and Lynx Clubs of New York and the Piping Rock Club in Long Island. He was also a friend of the Duke of Windsor, formerly King Edward VIII. Guest died from cancer in 1937, at the age of 61. Have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover in future videos? Let me know in the comments.